help! They're fighting my mama!
I'm on my way. Tell me where you are.
The phone rang at 2 in the morning, a child's voice breaking through the silence. Please help, they're fighting my mama. Please, I need help. Kang Min-ho stared at his screen, heart pounding. He was Seoul's most feared prosecutor, a man who'd sent crime lords to prison without flinching. But something about those desperate words from a child shattered the ice around his heart. I'm on my way, he said without thinking. Tell me where you are, sweetheart. I'm coming right now. He didn't know why he answered. Didn't know why his hands were already grabbing his coat. Didn't know that the Nigerian woman bleeding in that apartment would become the only person he'd ever burn the world down for. Welcome to K-fairytales stories, besties. Please like, share, and subscribe. Kang Min-ho pulled up to the rundown apartment complex in Gangnam's forgotten corner, the child's frightened voice still echoing in his ears. His driver tried to follow, but Min-ho waved him off. This felt personal already. The building looked condemned, windows dark except for one unit on the 3rd floor where shadows moved violently behind thin curtains. He took the stairs 2 at a time, the little girl's words replaying in his mind. Building 3, apartment 304. Please hurry, please. His prosecutor instincts kicked in as he heard shouting, glass breaking, a woman's scream cut short. He didn't knock. The door gave under his shoulder with one hit. Inside was chaos. A man twice his size stood over a woman curled on the floor, fist raised. A little girl maybe 5 years old pressed against the wall, still clutching the phone she'd used to call him. The man turned, eyes glazed with alcohol and rage. Min-ho moved before conscious thought. 3 precise strikes and the man was on the ground, groaning. Min-ho turned to the woman. His breath stopped. She was curvy, beautiful despite the blood trickling from her split lip, her dark skin glowing under the harsh kitchen light. Her natural hair was pulled back in a bun now falling loose. Her eyes met his, terrified and defiant all at once. Something inside him cracked open like an earthquake-splitting stone. The little girl ran to her mother. The woman pulled her close with shaking hands, wincing from pain. Min-ho saw bruises on her arms, old and new. His vision went red. He pulled out his phone, called his most trusted contact. I need an ambulance and police at this location. Tell them Prosecutor Kang sent you, and tell them the perpetrator is already restrained. He ended the call and crouched beside them. You're safe now. I promise you're safe. The woman stared at him like he was a mirage. Who are you? Her voice was hoarse, carrying the melodic accent of West Africa. Nigerian, he realized. Why did you come? Zara called 911, not. Your daughter called my number instead, Min-ho said softly, understanding dawning. The numbers must be similar, but I'm glad she did. He looked at the little girl. You're very brave, Zara. You saved your mother tonight. The child buried her face in her mother's shoulder and cried. Min-ho's chest tightened painfully. He'd prosecuted hundreds of domestic violence cases, sent countless abusers to prison, but he'd never felt this burning need to protect, to claim, to ensure nothing ever hurt them again. The ambulance arrived within minutes. Min-ho had that kind of power in Seoul. He rode with them to the hospital, ignoring the driver who'd followed anyway. In the emergency room, he watched doctors tend to her injuries. Cracked rib, split lip, bruised kidney, countless contusions. The little girl sat in his lap, finally calm as if she'd known him forever. A nurse approached with a clipboard. Sir, we need her information for the records. Min-ho looked through the window at the woman on the gurney. Her name. Kemi Ez, the nurse read from her passport. Nigerian citizen. Work visa expired 3 months ago. No emergency contact listed. No insurance. She glanced at Min-ho meaningfully. He pulled out his card without hesitation. Bill everything to me, private room, best doctors, whatever she needs. The nurse's eyes widened, but she nodded. In Seoul, Prosecutor Kang's word was law. Later that night, Min-ho sat beside Kemi's hospital bed while her daughter Zara slept on the couch nearby. Kemi's eyes fluttered open, unfocused from painkillers. She saw him and tensed. You're still here. Where else would I be? Min-ho leaned forward. Something about her pulled at him like gravity. The man who hurt you is in custody. I've already filed charges. He won't touch you again. Kemi's laugh was bitter. You don't understand. He's not just some guy. He's connected. Owns half the businesses in this neighborhood. No one will testify against him. I will. Minho's voice was steel. "I'm Prosecutor Kang Minho. I've taken down crime syndicates. One abusive landlord doesn't scare me." He watched her process this information, watched fear and hope war across her beautiful face. "But I need you to tell me everything. How long has this been happening?" "Since I couldn't pay rent 2 months ago," Kemi's voice broke. "My work visa expired. I lost my job at the restaurant. Zara and I had nowhere to go. He said I could stay if I did him favors. When I refused, he started getting violent." Tears slipped down her cheeks. "I was saving money to go back to Lagos. I just needed a few more weeks." Minho's jaw clenched. He'd seen this pattern before. Predators targeting vulnerable immigrants. Women with no legal status, no protection, nowhere to run. But Kemi had run. She'd fought back. Her daughter had been smart enough to text for help even if the number was wrong. "You're not going anywhere," he said quietly. "Not until you're healed. Not until he's convicted. Not until I know you're safe." "I can't afford this hospital. I can't afford you." Kemi tried to sit up and gasped in pain. "I appreciate what you did tonight, but I can't accept charity." "It's not charity." The words came out harsher than he intended. Minho softened his tone. "Consider it part of the investigation. You're a key witness. The state has an obligation to protect you." It was a lie. He was paying for everything personally, but he needed her to accept help without feeling indebted. The next morning, Minho arranged everything. A safe house in his building, security around the clock, new documents for Kemi's visa extension, enrollment for Zara in a good school nearby. He told himself it was just thorough victim protection. Told himself any prosecutor would do the same. But when he walked into Kemi's hospital room that afternoon and found her braiding Zara's hair, singing softly in Yoruba, his heart did something it had never done before. It recognized home. Kemi looked up and smiled. The split lip was healing. The bruises were fatting, but her smile hit him like a physical blow. "Prosecutor Kang, you didn't have to come back." "Minho," he corrected, "and I wanted to check on you both." He sat down, suddenly awkward. At 34, he'd faced down murderers and terrorists without sweating. But this curvy Nigerian woman with kind eyes made him forget how to breathe. "How are you feeling?" "Better. The doctors say I can leave tomorrow." Kemi finished Zara's braid. "I've been thinking about what you said, about staying until the trial, but I need to work. I can't just accept your help without giving something back." Minho opened his mouth to argue, but she held up a hand. "I'm a good cook. I can clean. I can do bookkeeping. Whatever you need. Just let me earn my keep." "You don't need to." "Yes, I do." Kemi's voice was firm. "I've been taking charity since I came to Seoul. From my ex-boyfriend who turned out to be married. From that landlord who tried to own me. I won't be owned again, not even by kindness." She met his eyes. "So either let me work or I'm leaving as soon as I can walk." Minho realized he was dealing with a woman as stubborn as she was beautiful. "Fine, you can cook if you want. I live alone. My housekeeper comes 3 times a week, but I usually eat takeout." He stood. "The safe house is ready. I'll have my driver bring you there tomorrow." "Safe house?" Kemi's eyes widened. "You mean I'm staying in your building?" "Top floor, best security in Seoul." Minho headed for the door before he did something stupid like confess he'd been thinking about her every moment since he'd walked into that apartment. "Get some rest. Tomorrow starts your new life." 3 days later, Kemi stood in Minho's penthouse kitchen, staring at ingredients she'd never seen before. He'd stocked it with everything: Korean staples, African groceries he'd had imported, fresh produce, expensive cuts of meat. It was overwhelming. Zara played in the living room, safe and happy for the first time in months, and Minho sat at the dining table, pretending to work on his laptop, while watching Kemi with an intensity that made her skin tingle. "I'm making jollof rice," she announced, "and pepper soup. I hope you like spicy food." "I eat kimchi every day. I can handle spice." Minho's voice carried amusement. He'd been nothing but respectful since she'd moved in. Never touched her except to help her upstairs. Never looked at her with anything but concern. But Kemi felt the heat beneath his control, felt the way his eyes followed her, felt the tension building between them like a storm gathering strength. By the time dinner was ready, the apartment smelled like Lagos. Minho took his first bite and closed his eyes. "This is incredible." My grandmother's recipe. Kemi watched him eat with more enthusiasm than she'd expected. She taught me everything about cooking, said a woman who can feed people will never be alone. Smart woman, Minho looked at her over the table. Tell me about her, about your family, about Lagos. So Kemi talked, about growing up in a loud, loving household, about her grandmother's compound where cousins ran wild, about her parents who'd worked themselves to exhaustion to send her to university, about coming to Seoul for a job opportunity that fell through, about meeting a man who promised marriage and gave her nothing but lies, about staying because going home felt like admitting defeat. And Zara's father, Minho asked carefully. Gone, back to his real family. Kemi's voice was flat. He didn't want a child, especially not one that would complicate his perfect Korean life. I kept her anyway. She's the only good thing that came from those years. Minho was quiet for a long moment. He's an idiot. You're the strongest woman I've ever met, and Zara is lucky to have you. Something warm bloomed in Kemi's chest. She looked away, suddenly shy. You barely know me. I know enough. Minho started clearing plates. I know you protected your daughter even when you were being beaten. I know you refuse charity even when you're desperate. I know you're proud and stubborn and absolutely terrifying in your courage. He paused. I know I haven't stopped thinking about you since the moment I saw you. The confession hung between them like a lit fuse. Kemi's heart pounded. Prosecutor Kang. Minho. Minho, she corrected, his name foreign and intimate on her tongue. This isn't appropriate. I'm your witness. You're helping me because it's your job. We can't. Can't what? He moved closer. Not touching, just close enough that she could feel his warmth. Can't acknowledge what's happening between us. Can't admit that every time I look at you, I forget why I'm supposed to be professional. His voice dropped. Can't say out loud that I want you in ways that have nothing to do with any investigation. Kemi's breath caught. She should step back, should remind him of all the reasons this was impossible. She was Nigerian, he was Korean. She was undocumented, he was a prosecutor. She was broken, he was powerful. But when she looked into his eyes, she saw something that terrified her more than any threat. She saw want. Pure, uncomplicated, burning want. And God help her, she wanted him too. The following week, Minho threw himself into Kemi's case with obsessive focus. He interviewed every witness in that apartment building, collected evidence, built a case so airtight that even the landlord's expensive lawyers couldn't find cracks. But he also did other things that had nothing to do with prosecution and everything to do with the woman living in his building. He had his assistant buy clothes for Kemi and Zara, had a doctor make house calls to check on healing injuries, had his driver take them anywhere they wanted to go, had the building security report directly to him about their movements. He told himself it was protection, told himself any responsible prosecutor would do the same. But late at night when he couldn't sleep, he admitted the truth. He was falling for Kemi Ez, falling hard and fast and completely out of control. One afternoon, Minho came home early and heard laughter from his kitchen. He found Kemi teaching Zara how to make chin-chin, a Nigerian snack he'd become addicted to. Flour dusted Kemi's nose. Zara's hands were covered in dough. They looked happy. They looked like they belonged there, like they belonged to him. Minho, Zara ran to him, leaving floury handprints on his expensive suit. He didn't care. He scooped her up, listening to her chatter about her new school and new friends. Over her head, his eyes met Kemi's. Something passed between them, something dangerous and inevitable. That night after Zara was asleep, Kemi found Minho on his balcony, staring at Seoul's glittering skyline. She brought him tea, sat beside him in comfortable silence. Thank you, she said finally. For everything, for saving us, for giving us this chance. I know I can never repay you. I don't want repayment. Minho's hand found hers on the railing. The touch was electric. He stopped, jaw clenching. I shouldn't say it. Say it anyway. Kemi's voice was barely a whisper. Her hand turned over, fingers lacing with his. It was the first time they'd really touched. The first time she'd let herself acknowledge the magnetic pull between them. I want you to stay. The confession was raw. Not because of the case, not because you're cooking and cleaning, but because when I come home and you're here, it feels right. Because Zara's laugh is the best sound I've ever heard. Because you make me feel human again after years of living like a machine. He turned to face her fully. Because I'm falling in love with you, Kemi Ez, and I don't know how to stop. Kemi's eyes filled with tears. You can't love me. You don't even know me. We're from different worlds, different cultures. I'm illegal, I'm broken, I have a daughter, I have nothing to offer you except problems. You're offering me everything. Minho cupped her face with gentle hands. You're offering me a reason to come home, a reason to smile, a reason to believe in something beyond justice and law. His thumb brushed her cheek. Don't tell me what I can't feel. Don't tell me you're not worth loving. Let me decide that. This is crazy. But Kemi was leaning into his touch, craving it like oxygen. We barely know each other. It's only been 2 weeks. I knew the moment I walked into that apartment. Minho's forehead touched hers. I knew when I saw you protecting Zara despite being beaten. I knew when you refused my charity because you're too proud to be saved. I knew when you smiled at me over jollof rice like I was worth smiling for. His voice roughened. I knew, Kemi. I've always known. She kissed him then, couldn't stop herself. His lips were soft, careful, asking permission with every touch. Kemi answered by pulling him closer, threading her fingers through his hair, pouring weeks of tension and longing into a kiss that tasted like hope. Minho groaned against her mouth, arms coming around her waist, lifting her slightly so their bodies aligned perfectly. The kiss deepened, hunger rising between them like wildfire. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Minho rested his forehead against hers. Stay with me tonight, not just in my building. With me, let me hold you. Let me show you what it feels like to be cherished. Kemi wanted to say yes, wanted it so badly her whole body ached, but fear held her back. What if you change your mind? What if this is just attraction? What if you wake up tomorrow and regret this? Impossible. Minho's eyes burned with certainty. I've never been more sure of anything, but I won't push. I won't take what you're not ready to give. He kissed her forehead tenderly. Whenever you're ready, I'll be here, waiting, wanting you, only you. That night, Kemi lay in bed thinking about Minho's confession, thinking about the way he looked at her like she was precious, thinking about the impossible future he was offering. She'd been hurt before, used before, betrayed before, but Minho was different. He saw her completely and wanted her anyway. He saw her brokenness and called it strength. He saw her scars and promised protection. Maybe, just maybe, she could trust this, trust him, trust the love growing between them against all logic. The trial was set for 3 weeks later. Minho prepared with ruthless efficiency, but Kemi saw the worry beneath his control. The landlord had powerful connections, had threatened witnesses, had hired lawyers who specialized in destroying victims on the stand. But Minho was more powerful. He'd been Seoul's youngest prosecutor, the man who'd brought down the Hwang crime family, the one person corrupt officials feared. 2 days before the trial, everything changed. Kemi was walking Zara home from school when a black car pulled up beside them. 2 men got out. She recognized one. The landlord's brother. Kemi Ez, he said smoothly. We need to talk about your testimony. Kemi pulled Zara behind her. I have nothing to say to you. Then maybe we should talk to your daughter. The man's smile was vicious. Pretty little girl, would be a shame if something happened to her. Accidents happen all the time in Seoul, especially to foreign children no one cares about. Rage and terror warred in Kemi's chest. She fumbled for her phone, hit Minho's contact. Touch my daughter and I'll kill you myself. Brave words, but you're nothing. An illegal immigrant who won't even be here after the trial. Why protect a prosecutor who's just using you? The man stepped closer. Drop the charges, refuse to testify, disappear back to Nigeria. That's your only option. The phone connected. Kemi, Minho's voice came through. What's wrong? I'm at the school. They're threatening Zara. Her voice shook. They want me to drop the charges. She heard movement through the phone, heard Minho barking orders, heard his controlled fury. Keep them talking. I'm 5 minutes away. Don't hang up. Don't let them take you. The men heard too. They exchanged glances. Prosecutor Kang won't always be there to protect you. Think about that. They got back in the car and drove away. Kemi collapsed against the school wall, pulling Zara close. Her daughter was crying, terrified. It's okay, baby, we're okay. Minho is coming, he'll keep us safe. But her hands shook as she held her child. She'd known there would be retaliation, had known testifying meant danger, but hearing threats against Zara made everything real, made her question whether justice was worth her daughter's life. Minho arrived in 4 minutes, not 5. He jumped from his still-moving car, crossed the distance to them in seconds. His hands were gentle as he checked them for injuries, but his eyes were murder. Did they touch you? Did they hurt you? Just threats. Kemi was shaking now, adrenaline crashing. They said they'd hurt Zara if I testify. Minho, I can't. You won't have to. He pulled out his phone, made 3 calls in rapid-fire Korean. When he finished, his expression was granite. They just made a fatal mistake. Threatening a witness is a crime. Threatening a child is worse. I'm having them arrested within the hour. He cupped Kemi's face. I will burn this entire city down before I let anyone hurt you or Zara. Do you understand me? I will protect you both with everything I have, with my career, with my life, with everything. Kemi believed him, saw the absolute conviction in his eyes, but she also saw the cost. This isn't just a case anymore. They're coming after me because I'm with you. Maybe I should drop it. Maybe we should just leave Seoul. No, Minho's voice was steel. Running gives them power. We fight. We win. And then we build the life we deserve. He pulled her and Zara close. I'm not losing you, not to threats, not to fear, not to anything. You're mine now, Kemi Ez, mine to protect, mine to love, and I protect what's mine. That evening, Minho moved them into his penthouse permanently. Not the safe house, but his actual home. He set up a bedroom for Zara, put security on every entrance, had his most trusted team watching them around the clock. Kemi protested, but he silenced her with a look that made her knees weak. You sleep where I can reach you, where I can hear you, where I know you're safe, non-negotiable. Later that night, after Zara was asleep and the apartment was quiet, Kemi found Minho in his study, surrounded by case files. He looked exhausted. She walked behind him, started massaging the tension from his shoulders. You need to rest. I need to make sure they can't touch you. But his eyes closed, his head tilting back into her touch. God, that feels good. When was the last time anyone took care of you? Kemi worked the knots from his muscles. When was the last time you let yourself need someone? Never. Minho's hand came up, caught hers, pulled her around until she stood between his knees. I've never needed anyone, never wanted to. Needing people makes you weak, makes you vulnerable, makes you human. Kemi's free hand touched his face. It makes you human, Minho. There's no shame in that. He pulled her down, kissed her with weeks of restraint finally breaking. Kemi melted into him, arms wrapping around his neck, body pressed against his. The kiss was fire and desperation and promise. When his hands slid under her shirt, touching bare skin for the first time, they both gasped. Tell me to stop, Minho breathed against her mouth. Tell me this is too fast, too much, and I'll stop. Don't stop. Kemi's fingers worked his shirt buttons. Don't you dare stop. I need you. I need to feel wanted. I need to feel safe. I need. He lifted her, carried her to his bedroom, kicked the door shut behind them. What happened next was tender and fierce, gentle and consuming, everything Kemi had never known she needed. Minho worshipped her curves with hands that shook, told her she was beautiful in Korean and English, made her forget every man who'd ever treated her as less than precious. When it was over, they lay tangled together, breathing hard, hearts pounding in sync. I love you, Minho whispered into her hair. I love you so much it terrifies me, if anything happened to you. Nothing will happen. Kemi kissed his chest. We're together now, we'll face everything together. But when she woke at dawn, Minho's side of the bed was cold. Panic seized her. She found a note on his pillow, had to handle something. Back soon, stay inside, stay safe, you're everything to me. Minho. Kemi's hands shook holding the note. Last night had been perfect, too perfect. And now he was gone, leaving her with nothing but promises and fear. The second morning brought silence that felt like a warning. Kemi tried Minho's phone 3 times. Each call went straight to voicemail. She fed Zara breakfast, forced normalcy into her voice, but dread coiled tight in her stomach. By noon, when he still hadn't returned or called, she knew something was wrong. The doorbell rang. Kemi checked the security monitor. A woman stood there, Korean, elegant, wearing designer clothes that screamed old money. Kemi opened the door cautiously. "Can I help you?" The woman's smile was ice. "I'm Han Jae-woo, Min-ho's ex-fiancé, and you must be the charity case he's been hiding in his apartment." Her eyes raked over Kemi with contempt. "I need to speak with him. It's urgent family business." "He's not here." Kemi kept her voice steady despite the word ex-fiancé ringing in her ears like a gunshot. "I can give him a message." "I'm sure you can." Jae-woo's laugh was cruel. "Tell him his mother had another heart episode. Tell him the family needs him at the hospital. And tell him," she stepped closer, "that playing house with illegal immigrants has consequences. The prosecution office is already asking questions about his involvement with you. They're calling it a conflict of interest. Career suicide for a man who was supposed to be prosecutor general." Kemi's world tilted. He never mentioned an ex-fiancé, or his mother being sick, or... Of course he didn't. Men like Min-ho don't share their real lives with temporary distractions. Jae-woo pulled out her phone, showed Kemi a photo. Min-ho and this woman at a formal event, his arm around her waist, both smiling. The date stamp was 6 months ago. "We were engaged for 3 years. Called it off 8 months ago because his career came first. But his family still expects us to reconcile, especially now that he's throwing everything away for some woman he met 5 minutes ago." Each word was a knife. Kemi forced herself not to react, not to show how deeply they cut. "Thank you for the message. I'll tell him when he returns." "If he returns," Jae-woo's smile widened. "The trial is tomorrow. The landlord's lawyers have new evidence about your immigration status, about your ex-boyfriend's complaints, about you being an unfit mother. They're going to destroy you on the stand. And when they do, when Min-ho's reputation is ruined because of you, when his career is over and his family disowns him, do you really think he'll still want you?" She turned to leave, paused. "Love doesn't survive reality, Miss Ez. Especially not when one person has everything to lose, and the other has nothing to offer." Kemi closed the door with shaking hands. Zara appeared from her room, eyes wide. "Mama, who was that lady? Why did she sound so mean?" "No one important, baby." But Kemi's mind was spinning. Ex-fiancé, sick mother, career suicide, new evidence. Everything Jae-woo said made terrible sense. Min-ho had been gone all day without explanation. He'd rushed into this relationship without thinking about consequences. He'd promised protection, but maybe he'd never considered what it would cost him. Maybe Jae-woo was right. Maybe reality was finally crashing through the fantasy they'd been living. That evening, Min-ho finally returned. He looked exhausted, his suit rumpled, a bruise darkening his jaw. Kemi met him at the door, heart pounding. "Where were you? I called you 20 times. "I'm sorry, my phone died and I was dealing with..." He stopped, seeing her expression. "What's wrong? Did something happen? Is Zara okay?" "Your ex-fiancé came by." Kemi crossed her arms, defensive. "Said your mother is in the hospital. Said the prosecution office is investigating you because of me. Said you're destroying your career." Her voice cracked despite her efforts to stay strong. "Why didn't you tell me about her? About your family? About what this is costing you?" Min-ho's jaw clenched. "Jae-woo was here. What did she say exactly?" "Does it matter?" Kemi's laugh was bitter. "She showed me photos, told me you were supposed to reconcile, told me I'm just a distraction who's ruining your life." She wiped angry tears. "And maybe she's right. Maybe you saved me and now you feel obligated. Maybe last night was just..." "Stop." Min-ho crossed to her in 2 strides, gripped her shoulders. "Whatever she said was lies designed to hurt you. Jae-woo and I ended years ago. My mother is fine. And yes, the prosecution office has questions, but I don't care. You're not a distraction. You're not ruining anything. You're the best thing that's ever happened to me." "Then why didn't you tell me you were engaged before?" Kemi's voice broke completely. "Why didn't you warn me about the consequences? Why didn't you give me a choice about whether to drag you down with me?" "Because I was afraid." The admission was raw. "Afraid you'd leave. Afraid you'd sacrifice yourself to protect me. Afraid you'd think I was too damaged or too complicated or too much." His hands gentled on her shoulders. "My engagement to Jae-woo was arranged by our families. Political alliance, nothing more. I ended it because I couldn't marry someone I didn't love. My mother disagreed. We haven't spoken in 8 months. That's why Jaiwoo came here. To use my mother's health as leverage, to make you doubt me, to destroy what we have. And the investigation, Kemi needed to hear him say it. Your career. Let them investigate, let them question, let them destroy my career if they want. Minho's eyes burned with intensity. I'll start over, I'll find new work, I'll do whatever it takes, but I won't give you up. I won't let fear or consequence or anyone else's judgment take you from me. He pulled her close. I love you, Kemi, that's not obligation, that's not guilt, that's real. Don't let Jaiwoo's poison make you doubt what we have. Kemi wanted to believe him, wanted it desperately, but fear had its hooks in deep. What if she's right? What if we destroy each other trying to make this work? Then we'll burn together. Minho kissed her forehead. But I'm betting on us surviving. I'm betting on love being stronger than fear. I'm betting on you and me and Zara building something that can't be broken. He tilted her face up. Trust me, please, trust what we have. She kissed him then, hard and desperate, trying to believe. His arms came around her, solid and sure. But even as they held each other, Kemi felt the walls closing in. The trial was tomorrow. Jaiwoo's words echoed in her head, and she couldn't shake the feeling that everything was about to fall apart. The courtroom was packed the next morning. Kemi wore a simple dress Minho had bought, her hair pulled back, her hands shaking as she took the stand. The landlord sat at the defense table looking smug. His lawyer was a shark in expensive suits, and Jaiwoo sat in the gallery, watching with predatory interest. Minho approached the stand, his prosecutor persona fully in place. Miss Ez, please tell the court what happened the night of October 15th. Kemi recounted everything. The missed rent, the landlord's demands, the escalating violence. The night he'd beaten her while Zara watched. Her voice stayed steady even when the defense lawyer objected repeatedly, even when he called her credibility into question, even when he brought up her expired visa, her ex-boyfriend's complaints, her history of poor judgment. Isn't it true, the defense lawyer said, packing like a predator, that you pursued a relationship with Prosecutor Kang immediately after he rescued you, that you moved into his home within days, that you seduced a powerful man to secure your immigration status and avoid deportation? The courtroom erupted. Minho shot to his feet. Objection, the witness's personal life is irrelevant to. It speaks to her character, the defense lawyer interrupted. To her pattern of using men for personal gain. Her ex-boyfriend filed complaints about financial manipulation. Now she's latched onto Prosecutor Kang, a man with the power to secure her legal status. The court should consider whether her testimony is motivated by truth or by desperation to protect her position. The judge banged his gavel. I'll allow it. Miss Ez, you may answer. Kemi's face burned. Every eye in the courtroom judged her. She saw Jaiwoo smiling, saw the jury members exchanging glances, saw her character being shredded in real time. I didn't seduce anyone. Prosecutor Kang helped me because that's who he is. A good man who. A good man you're now living with. A good man whose career is being questioned because of his involvement with you. A good man who might lose everything if he loses this case. The lawyer leaned in. Convenient timing, wouldn't you say? You needed help. He needed a victim who'd make his case look heroic. Maybe this whole relationship is just mutual exploitation. That's not true, Kemi's voice rose. I love him, this isn't about. Love, the lawyer's laugh was mocking. How convenient. Tell me, Miss Ez, what happens to you if you lose this case? If my client is acquitted, you'll be deported within weeks. Your daughter will be taken by social services. Your only protection is Prosecutor Kang. So forgive me for doubting your testimony when you have everything to gain from lying. Minho objected again, but the damage was done. Kemi saw it in the jury's faces, saw doubt creeping in, saw her entire testimony being reframed as the desperate lies of an illegal immigrant trying to save herself. When she finally stepped down, she felt hollow, felt like every fear Jaiwoo had planted was coming true. During the lunch recess, Minho found her in the witness room. You did amazing. Don't listen to their lies. The jury saw the truth. Did they? Kemi couldn't meet his eyes. Or did they see exactly what that lawyer wanted them to see? A desperate woman using you. She stood, paced. Maybe I should leave. Take Zara and go back to Lagos before this destroys you completely. You're not going anywhere. Minho caught her hand. We're going to win this, and even if we don't, even if everything falls apart, we're together. That's what matters. Your career matters. Your reputation matters. Your family matters. Kemi pulled away. I can't be the reason you lose everything. You're not the reason, you're the solution. He pulled her back, desperate. Before you, I was empty, successful but empty. Now I have purpose. I have love. I have a family, don't you see? You didn't take anything from me. You gave me everything. Kemi wanted to believe him. But when they returned to the courtroom and the defense called their surprise witness, her world shattered completely. Her ex-boyfriend took the stand. The married man who'd gotten her pregnant and abandoned her. The man who'd filed complaints about her to immigration. He looked smug as he was sworn in. Mr. Park, please tell the court about your relationship with Miss Ez. She was obsessed with me, wouldn't accept that I was married, got pregnant on purpose to trap me. When that didn't work, she threatened to ruin my life. He looked at Kemi with fake sympathy. I feel bad for Prosecutor Kang. He doesn't know what he's gotten himself into. She's manipulative, unstable. She'll destroy him just like she tried to destroy me. Kemi's vision blurred. Everything was falling apart. Her past being weaponized. Her character destroyed. Minho's career hanging by a thread because he dared to love her. This was exactly what Jaiwoo had warned. Reality crushing their impossible romance. When the court adjourned for the day, Kemi didn't wait for Minho. She grabbed Zara from the childcare room and headed for the exit. But reporters swarmed her, cameras flashing, questions shouting. Miss Ez, are you using Prosecutor Kang? Is your relationship a green card scheme? How do you respond to allegations of manipulation? She pushed through blindly, pulling Zara close. Then strong hands gripped her shoulders, shielded her from the cameras. Minho's voice cut through the chaos. No comment. Back away. Now. His security team materialized, creating a barrier. He guided Kemi and Zara to his car, his body protecting theirs. In the car, silence reigned. Zara fell asleep against Kemi's shoulder, exhausted from stress. Minho drove with clenched jaw, knuckles white on the steering wheel. When they reached his building, he carried Zara upstairs while Kemi followed in numb silence. After Zara was in bed, the explosion came. You were going to run. Minho's voice was quiet but furious. You were going to take Zara and disappear without even talking to me. What else can I do? Kemi's voice broke. You heard them. You saw what they're doing to you because of me. Your career, your reputation, everything you've built is being destroyed. And for what? For a woman who brings nothing but scandal and problems. For the woman I love, Minho crossed to her. For the woman who makes me want to be better. For the woman I can't breathe without. He gripped her shoulders. Stop trying to sacrifice yourself for me. Stop thinking you're not worth fighting for. Stop running every time things get hard. I'm not running, I'm protecting you. Tears streamed down Kemi's face. Don't you understand? Everything they said today is true. I'm illegal. I did get pregnant by a married man. I am using you for protection whether I mean to or not. And you're losing everything because you won't let me go. I don't care. Minho's voice rose. I don't care about my career. I don't care about my reputation. I don't care about anything except you and Zara. Why can't you understand that? Because love isn't enough, Kemi shouted back. Love doesn't pay bills. Love doesn't fix immigration status. Love doesn't rebuild destroyed careers. Love is just a feeling that fades when reality hits. And reality is hitting us right now, Minho. Reality is destroying us. Then let it. He pulled her against him fiercely. Let it destroy everything. Let it burn my career to the ground. Let it take my family, my reputation, everything I thought mattered. Because I'll still have you. I'll still have Zara. I'll still have love. And that's worth more than anything they can take from me. Kemi broke completely, sobbing against his chest. I'm so scared. Scared they'll win. Scared I'll lose you. Scared I'll wake up and this will all have been a dream. It's not a dream. Minho held her tighter. It's real, we're real, and we're going to fight for it together. No more running, no more sacrificing, just us facing whatever comes together. That night, they held each other like lifelines. Minho whispered promises in Korean and English. Kemi tried to believe, tried to trust, but fear lived in her bones, whispering that happy endings weren't for women like her. The next morning brought the verdict. The jury deliberated for 6 hours. When they filed back in, Kemi couldn't breathe. Minho's hand found hers under the table, squeezed tight. The foreman stood. In the case of the People versus Park Sung-ho, we find the defendant guilty on all charges. The courtroom erupted. The landlord's face went white. His lawyers immediately called for appeals, but it didn't matter. They'd won. Justice had been served. Kemi's testimony had held up despite the character assassination. Minho had proven his case. They'd survived. Outside the courthouse, reporters swarmed again. But this time Minho didn't hide. He pulled Kemi close, faced the cameras directly. Yes, I'm in a relationship with Kemi Ez. Yes, she's Nigerian. Yes, she's the mother of a beautiful daughter. And yes, I plan to marry her as soon as possible. Anyone who has a problem with that can take it up with me directly. The cameras went wild. Questions shouted. But Minho just smiled, kissed Kemi's temple, and led her to the car. In the backseat, Kemi stared at him. Did you just propose to me in front of the entire Seoul press corps? I proposed last night. This was just the public announcement. Minho's grin was devastating. Unless you're saying no. You're insane. But Kemi was smiling through tears. Your family will disown you. Your colleagues will question you. Your ex-fiancé will. We'll do nothing because I don't care what any of them think. He caught her face. Say yes, Kemi. Say you'll marry me. Say you'll build a life with me. Say you'll let me spend forever proving you're worth everything. Yes. The word came out broken and sure and terrified and hopeful all at once. Yes, you impossible man. Yes. He kissed her right there in the backseat while his driver pretended not to notice. Kissed her like she was air and he was drowning. Kissed her like promises and forevers and absolutely certainty. The following weeks were chaos. Minho's family demanded meetings. His mother, recovered from her heart episode, threatened to cut him off. Jaiwoo spread rumors. The prosecution office opened an ethics investigation. But Minho faced it all with Kemi at his side. He hired immigration lawyers for her visa, enrolled Zara in the best school, started planning a wedding that would blend Korean and Nigerian traditions. 1 month after the trial, they stood in Minho's family estate facing his furious mother. You're throwing away your future for this woman, for a Nigerian immigrant with no family, no status, no. Mother, Minho's voice was steel. That woman is the woman I love, the woman I'm going to marry, the mother of the child I'm going to adopt. And if you can't accept that, if you can't treat her with respect, then you and I have nothing more to say to each other. His mother's face went white. Then slowly she looked at Kemi, really looked at her, saw the strength there, the love, the way she stood tall despite being terrified. You love my son. More than I thought possible. Kemi's voice didn't shake. I know I'm not what you wanted for him. I know I'm not Korean or wealthy or connected, but I love him, and I'll spend my life making him happy if you'll let me. Long silence. Then Minho's mother sighed. My son has never been happy, not truly. I see happiness in his eyes now. I see light. If you're the reason, then perhaps I've been wrong. She stood, approached Kemi slowly. Welcome to the family, but know this. If you hurt him, if you break his heart, you'll answer to me. If I hurt him, Kemi said quietly, I'll answer to myself first, because losing him would destroy me. The wedding happened 3 months later in a garden overlooking Seoul. Kemi wore traditional Nigerian attire for the ceremony, then changed into a hanbok for the reception. Zara was flower girl, beaming in a dress that matched her mother's. Minho cried when Kemi walked down the aisle. Actually cried. The feared prosecutor who'd sent criminals running now openly emotional at his own wedding. I do, Kemi said when the moment came. I choose you, I choose us. I choose this impossible, beautiful, terrifying love. I do, Minho echoed. I choose you, every day, every moment, every breath. You're mine and I'm yours and nothing will ever change that. They kissed to thunderous applause. Korean and Nigerian traditions blending as families celebrated. Jaiwoo wasn't there. The investigation had been dropped. Minho's career had survived stronger than before, and Kemi's visa had been approved permanently. 1 year later, Kemi stood in their home, hand on her swollen stomach. Baby number 2 was coming, a son this time. Zara danced around her, singing in Korean and English, excited to be a big sister. Minho walked in from work, dropped his briefcase, and swept Kemi into his arms carefully. "How are my 3 favorite people?" He kissed her, then knelt to kiss her stomach. "Your son is training for soccer, apparently. He won't stop kicking." Kemi smiled. "And your daughter got an award at school today, and your wife loves you more than words can say." "My wife saved me." Minho stood, pulling her close. "Saved me from a life of emptiness. Saved me from thinking success meant anything without love. Saved me from myself." He rested his forehead against hers. "Thank you for texting the wrong number. Thank you for letting me save you. Thank you for saving me right back." "Always." Kemi kissed him softly. "We're forever, remember? You promised me forever." "And I keep my promises." Minho's hand covered hers on her stomach. "Forever with you, with our children, with this beautiful, impossible life we built from nothing." Outside their window, Seoul glittered with possibility. Inside their home, love lived and breathed and grew. A Nigerian woman and a Korean prosecutor. A wrong number text that became a destiny. A threat that became salvation. A romance that defied every obstacle. They'd survived the fire and built something unbreakable from the ashes. And every night when Minho held Kemi close, when Zara slept peacefully down the hall, when their son kicked inside her belly, they knew that love hadn't been enough. It had been everything. And sometimes everything was exactly what broken people needed to become whole.